Hello everyone, welcome to my Unreal Engine Open World tutorial series. So now we have this character with ability to move and look around, and as I promised, in this episode I'm going to show you how to uh, give this character ability to jump and play some footstep sounds. So let's get started. So for the jumping part, I'll first open the blueprint of this character, which is 𝐂𝐻𝐿, and right. For the jumping part, what I have to do is I have already defined an input for jump in here. In action mappings, jump, and the button is for keyboard spacebar. Right. So in my character human blueprint, I'll type jump. So I get this event, this action event jump. So here what I have to do is there is an inbuilt function that comes with this character class called jump. So when I call this, it will automatically add the jumping functionality, which means the moving above the ground. Let's see. Right. Okay, so it moves, but the problem is it does not have an associated animation. So let's fix it now. So same as before, I will go to 𝐒𝐿 and search for jumping animations, and I think this animation looks better on this character. So go ahead and download it. So I have already downloaded that, so I'm not going to download it again, and I will import this downloaded jump animation into my project, into animations. Here, drag and drop, and I'll select the knight skeleton. Okay, so now we got this animation, and the way I'm going to implement this jumping is uh, first in here, this is the jump start, and depending on the time this character will take to land, it has to be in some looping section like this. So start jumping and stay in loop and land. So there are 3 sections. So I am going to implement this with an animation montage. So I'm not going to explain what is a montage here. I will write a blog post and put the link in the descriptions, and when it is ready you can read it and learn more about montages. So for now I'll show you how to create the montage. Okay, it is jump montage, and I have selected this default slot. It is already selected. Okay, so this would be jump start, and I'll create another section which starts from here, and I'll call it loop. That means this section is going to be looping. So, and another section called land. So that is the landing part. So to minimize this, okay, I'll end here, this starting part is this default, and this one should be looping. To make it looping, I can click in here again, so it becomes blue. That means it is looping. So when I play this, as you can see, this montage is looping in between this loop area, but it seems a little bit vibrating. So to fix that, I'll minimize this area like this, and let's see, still there is some jerking, so I'll zoom in and move this further closer to the loop start. Okay, now let's see. Okay, alright, so it is looping, and after this part it will land. So how can I implement this into my character? To do that, first I'm going to open my animation blueprint, and there in my animation graph, so this is what's going into the final animation pose. In here I have to create this slot, default slot, and plug it here, so that whatever comes from this node will be whatever comes from this node will go through this slot, and whatever is playing in this default slot will be added or override and output into the final animation pose. So when I play this one or this animation montage, this section will take care of playing that. Right, so where do I play this montage? It's here. Play animation montage, and for this I'll select this jump montage, the one I just created. Right, and I can leave this start section name as none because it should start from the beginning. Right, so now let's see. Okay, let's run and start jumping. Okay, so it started jump and stayed in this looping pose. So now what I have to do is I should tell this character when to land. To do that, there is an inbuilt function called event on landed. So this function will be called when the character is landed. So here I'll play an montage. Again I will select this jump montage, and for the section I'll give it as land. So this time this land in animation part will be played like this. Okay, so now it starts jumping and looping and lands like this. Right, so jumping part is done, and the next thing is I'm going to add footstep sounds. To do that, so first I need to define where are the steps, or in my animations where does the footsteps takes place. So if I check this animation, this is one footstep, left footstep, and this is right footstep. So I have to create notifiers in these locations. So to do that, okay, this is the left. I'll add a notifier here, call it footstep L. L means left, and also I could just play a sound here or play a particle effect here also, but I am not going to do this because later on I am going to implement a functionality that will play a relevant sound according to the type of surface this character is going to step on. So it is like if it is walking on some soil, it will play some soil footstep sound. If it is walking on some wood surface, it should play a wooden thud, same as in a rock surface, something relevant. So because of that, but I can't do that here, so therefore I will create this notify, and I will use this notify to invoke a function in our character blueprint. So here notify, I'll create a new notify footstep right. Well, actually I could use one notifier here called footstep for both L and R, but I'm going to keep two notifiers because just in case I might need them in the future, but not sure yet. Right, so now I have created these footsteps, and this is for walking, and same as for other animations, that means running and fast run, and also left strafe and right strafe. I have to add notifiers for all these states, but for now I'll show you only these two animations. You can do it on yourself, and I will do it off the camera so I can save some time. Okay, right, and also for the fast run, L R. Right, so when I have created a notifier in the event graph, I can create an event that will be called when those notifiers are fired. To do that, I'll create a new event graph and I'll call it notifiers graph. Well, I like to keep the code clean, so I created a new graph instead of putting everything in this default event graph. Okay, so I have this footstep L and footstep R. Right, so now what I have to do is, well, actually if I want I could play the sound here, or I could call a function in our character blueprint and let the character blueprint decide which sounds to play or what to do upon a footprint or footstep. Okay, so to do that I have to create some function like footstep, but if I create a custom function like this, if I do it like this, then in order to access this custom function I need this a variable to be in type of 𝐶𝐻𝐻uman, because otherwise, if this is in the type of default character class, this does not have a function called this footstep. Then again, I have to take this and cast into 𝐶𝐻𝐻uman, and as 𝐶𝐻𝐻uman I can call this footstep function. But the problem with this approach is, when we consider best programming practices, this is not good, because in this code I'm gonna have a reference to a 𝐶𝐻𝐻uman class. That means we are making a dependency between this BPA_human and 𝐶𝐻𝐻uman class. So it is better to minimize dependencies between classes, so because it will make the classes are highly coupled. To reduce coupling, I will not take this approach. Instead, I will create an interface like this. First, I will create a folder called BP, and BP means blueprints, and I'll create another, no, I'll just create one here in the bluprint interface. I will call it BPI, stands for blueprint interface, BPI character. Right here I'll add a function called footstep, and I'll add an input left or right. So if this is true, that means if it's left. If it is right, that means it is right. So you can find a better way to name this, but I'll leave it like this for now, because we don't need to know whether it is left foot or right foot for now. Okay, so now I have to implement this interface in my character class. To do that, I'll go to class settings and add, and I'll search BPI character. Right. Okay, now we have implemented this character, and I will create another graph and I will call it, what should I call? I'll call this sounds. Oh, sounds and effects. Okay, and here I'll type footstep. Right, so now I get this event footstep because this comes with the interface. And if I go to my BPA_human class and I'll type footstep, I'll get a reference here first, and if I type footstep, now through that interface I just created, I could call this function. So now we don't have to cast this variable into 𝐶𝐻𝐻uman, which is exactly what I needed. And this is left, and same as for this is R. Right, now I am calling this function, and in here now I can play sound at location. So for the location I will get the I will use the character location. And for the sound, okay, so now I have to import sounds, and I have already prepared some sounds for this, but I can't make them available for you guys because I don't have the right to share, but I'm sure you can find some footstep sounds in the internet. Okay, footsteps, and I'll drag and drop these audio clips here. So these are the footstep sounds I have, and instead of one footstep sound I'm going to use 3 of them, because if I continue to hear the same footstep sound over and over again, it will be boring. So I'll create a sound cue, and I'll call it step cue, and in here I can use these all 3 sounds like this, and I can put a random node here and connect them like this. So whenever I play this sound cue, it will select a random sound like this and play. So I will get some variation in footstep sounds. So I'll put this in here and let's play. Okay, as expected, I am getting the sounds, but I think they are a little loud for now. So I'll reduce the volume of this a little more. Okay, it's much better now. But these sounds are really horrible, but we will find better sounds later. And one other thing, here there is something called attenuation settings. So attenuation means the decaying of sound as as the listener is far away from the audio source. That means when I am closer to the audio source, I should may hear it louder. As I am getting away from the source, the volume that I hear should get lower and lower, and at some point I should not hear it. So to implement that, I can create a sound attenuation file like this. I'll put it into here and I'll call it ATTN footstep. Right, and I'll open this and I'll set this inner radius as something like 200 and this something like 1000. So anyone beyond 1000 units away from the character will not hear this, so I'll put this 2000. Right, and this wouldn't matter now, but if once we have other characters, other NPC characters running around in the world, we will see the effect. Okay, so that's all for today, and thank you very much. And I have not decided what to do in the next part, but we will meet you in the next part and see what happens. Okay, goodbye.